Stays on that inside for the 7 again. Oxer vertical double. And he stays on the inside 7 to the last, but he does pick up that fault at the end, as well as one time fault, 71.22, just over that time allowed. 0.2 of a second, finishing up with 5 faults total for Eduardo and Nagano. All right, let's take a look at Ireland's Jordan Coyle. He's had a super week so far. He won our Challenge Cup on Thursday. And had a couple down last night in the Grand Prix, but has been going very well. Today he's sitting on Ariso, 13-year-old gelding Bicasol with a contender mother, owned by the Aelin farm. Really on that inside track there, you could see everybody else's tracks were way more on the outside. He really turned early to that. So very different option there. Again, 1 to 2, 9, 10 strides, far away. Don't need to count so much. Stays on that inside there. Looking good. We know the time is a little bit snug. First two have had time faults. Gets through the triple nicely. That seems to be riding quite well. It is off that patient 6. He created beautiful space there. You could see the horse landed a little bit low in the balance, but he sat up right away, got him back, so he had plenty of space at the plank. So he's opting to do the little bit steadier 8 into that last double. Does have B down coming out. And a big push to the last. Clears it, but unfortunately will pick up that late fault, 4 fault, 69.91. So well within that time allowed of 71 seconds, but has the penultimate fence down. So that'll be 4 faults. All right, we're going to take a look at our third one in the ring. Actually, it's going to be our 4th one in the ring. Katie Dinan and Dijon Terhorn Zed. 13-year-old gelding owned by the Grant Road Partners, LLC. Zankerside bred by Damat with the Lord Z mother. This horse always such a great partnership with Katie. Like we were chatting the other day, saying that the horses always love Katie. They always seem, she's very friendly to them, and they always seem like they really want to jump for her. Steadies up there. So we know the time allowed can be done. This horse quite quick across the ground. Jumped that beautifully. She really rode that very, very well. Five looking nice and simple for her. Coming down this last line. So she stays out in the 8 as well. Again, choosing to do that 8 in order to keep the balance. Does she get over the last? She does, but she is just over that time, 72.52. So she'll pick up 2 on the clock. But beautiful, clear jumping round. So looking like the time allowed is very snug today. People are definitely in the warm-up now thinking, you know, telling each other, hey, the time alloved's really, really tight. You got to be super quick everywhere. And that is definitely something they're going to be discussing out there and making sure they adjust their plans a little bit, and they know. Not so many places. There's a couple of rollback turns, but again, there's some big oxers out of those rollbacks, so it's not so easy to just be as quick as possible. But let's see if Zoe Conter and Dawa de Green Bay Zed can do it. Steph X Stables entry of the 12-year-old Zangerside Stallion by Dierarda. The Shilling mother. Little backing up there, checking she has good brakes. And Zoe's been on such a roll recently, such great results. Second in the 4-star Grand Prix last week for CSIO week. And let's see what she does today. Has number 2 down. Maybe just not quite awake yet in the course. Definitely looks like that 7 here is what the majority of the class will end up doing. Some people, like I said, were debating staying out in 8, but I think the 7 just works out fine there. Beautiful there down to the plank. She really rode that well. Used her upper body to sit up at that golden plank. So she stays on the inside for the 7. Has B coming out there. Again, that is the risk when you do the 7, that you get on top of B a little bit. So she will also pick up 1 on the clock, 71, 31, and 8. Jumping faults total of 9 for Zoe Conter and Damat Green Bay. All right, this is a horse that we saw jump beautifully the other day. And it's going to be Germany's Kendra Clarissa Brinkhope and Do It Easy. 11-year-old gelding, owned by Kendra herself, as well as Coolmore Show Jumping. It's Vigo Sessi by Laken. Cell Francais. 13-year-old gelding. Again, Kendra, just this is her first week over here from Europe. She's been in Sunshine Tour for the last few weeks competing, and now she's over here, I believe, for the next couple of weeks, maybe for the remainder. And she's just such an exceptional rider. So strong, and the horses jump so beautifully for her. Super competitive. She's one of the most well-known competitive female riders on the circuit at this high level. So she does the steady 8 there. And again, this horse has quite a big stride, and that 4 is short to the cask, the green vertical. So I think she just thought, better I set it up a little bit earlier so she doesn't have to struggle so much to get that 4 done. Beautiful ride through there. She's a little bit wide here, back to the skinny. To keep an eye on her time, but horse is jumping beautifully. Very well done there to get over that. Stays on the inside. She should be fine with the time. Chose to do the 1 less to the last, and that will be our first clear, 70.23. Under that time allowed of 71 seconds, and on the clear for Kendra, making it look easy with Do It Easy. See, she did it easily. So that'll be our first clear. And again, time allowed quite snug, but she was very clever about how she rode that. I thought she was patient in a lot of places, which was smart. And then she chose to do the 1 less down to the last, just stayed on that inside track, and then she could make up a little bit of time there without sacrificing any kind of short rollback. All right, we're going to move on to Germany's Renee Detmer and Burlington Riverland, the Live Oak Plantation LLC entry. Of the 13-year-old gelding by My Lord Catargo. This horse just been coming back up to this level after a little bit of a break, and he's been jumping super. Beautiful through here. Horse just patting the ground. Absolutely well done. Very athletic. Curls around that plank. Little reach coming in. A little bit close there. Stays on the inside track to the last as well. Gets over that, and that'll make it 2 in a row. 71. Oh, it will not. 1/100th of a second over that time allowed, and that will put him on 1 time fault. So no jump off yet. But that was a beautiful round there by Renee and Burlington. Okay, moving on to USA's Katherine Tyree Flores and Camila Z. 12-year-old mare owned by Katherine Tyree, LLC. And by Cliff 67 with a Sandro Boy Jr. mother. This horse also jumped a lovely round the other day. Something about this horse I always really like. Former ride of Lorenzo De Luca and Ben Mayer. This horse really opens up beautifully behind. So a nice, neat turn back here. Really steadied up there well for the 4. You could see the horse really pat the ground at the takeoff of the cask. Looks like maybe she pulled a little bit of a cuff off. Hard to say if the shoe came off or it was just the cuff. Looking like maybe the shoe did come off. Still jumping great. Really jumps up and away from that. Stays here for the 7. And unfortunately, a little bit slow as well. 72.19 with the 2 time faults. And clear jumping for Camila. Beautiful, beautiful round. I thought Kat Tyree executed that beautifully, but time is super tight today and really requires a lot of forethought as to where you do on track. I mean, she did the 7 down the last, but was just a little bit patient everywhere else. I thought she was quite neat back actually up early in the class and maybe a little bit slower back to that skinny, but time faults for her. Okay, we're going to move on to Donner and Gabriel Damatos Masado and the Vortex LLC entry of the 14-year-old Belgian-bred Gelding by Thunder. Nice ride there. Good, using his eye, very neat back here. That was well done. There you can see he really used his upper body to slow the arc of the jump. This horse wants to jump a little bit past the arc. And he sort of has to stay a little bit behind the motion in order to help slow that arc down so that the front and hind legs can both clear the jump. Just likes to jump a little bit forward. That was handy move through there. Maybe gets a little bit close to the front pole. Not quite able to get out of the way. And he's a little bit wide here. You can see he's struggling to just get the horse to follow a bit through the corner. And stays in the tack there. Again, you could see he was struggling to get the horse to come out of the corner, and then he wanted to just do the one less, and he was just a little bit far off it, and the horse just wasn't quite with him. So the horse tries to put in another stride, and unfortunately can't fit it. But he keeps him a little circle, moving on. Gets through the double. Moves up and then steadies up to the last a little bit, but he will pick up 24 jumping faults, 21 on the clock. 91.65 is his time for Brazil's and Gabriel, Machado, and Donner. So 1 clear at the moment. That would be Kendra, Clarissa, Brinkup, and Do It Easy. But let's take a look if the USA's Jessica Springstein. And Cayman de Pateau Z, the Stonehill Farm entry of the 9-year-old Zangerside gelding by Callado with the Gasol mother. Jess been developing this horse over the last couple of years. And just stepping up now into this 5-star level. It's been jumping a bunch of national Grand Prix and some 2 and 3 stars in places, but just now stepping into the 5-star level. And again, this meter 50 class today is like jumping at least a 3-star Grand Prix. You know, it is spec'd at meter 50. He has some leeway. Our course designer has some leeway to even go up to 155. Very patient there. He's jumping beautifully behind. As you can see her really sit up there, sit tall through that. Beautiful jump through the triple. To see, this is a little bit of a slower mover, so we're just going to have to keep an eye on the clock. She does a very good job to make sure to give him the space. Yeah, she looks a little bit wide here. I think she's going to struggle with that time allowed. She does the 7. Really jumps up there. She's going to be right on the edge. Yeah, I think she's not going to make it, but she will get the clear jumping round. So from a development standpoint, absolutely beautiful round. We'll pick up actually 4 on the clock, 74.16. And clear jumping, but 4 time penalties. And those time penalties will score just as a regular 4 faults, so it would have been the same as if she'd had 1 down on her overall score sheet. But for her own development and the horse, absolutely beautiful. Clear round, she should be quite happy with that. All right, now we're going to take a look at the man who won our meter 50 speed on Friday on this horse, and it is Harry Charles and Aelin Blue. 13-year-old mare owned by Ann Thompson and Peter Charles. It's by Choco Blue with the Ludwig mother. Harry had a really good round in the Grand Prix last night. Just had a foot in the water, but otherwise absolutely horse jumped beautifully. And again, just 24 years of age, and Harry's had so much success, already gone to the Olympic Games. Steadies up there beautifully for the 4. Nice, lands a little bit shallow. That actually helps him set up the 6 a little bit. So he chooses to do 4 there across the middle. I think he did 4. Seemed really open. I can't imagine that he did that, but love to see a replay. Gets a good shot at the last, and that'll give us an assured jump off. Harry Charles and Aelin Blue going for clear. So we now have 2 on the good list, and we will be assured a jump off. Again, that time allowed very tight. He was 69.79, so well within it. But seems like the ones that are going clear are very, very, like at least a second or 2 within that time allowed. But we've seen a few time falters so far. Okay, we're going to take a look now at Sammy L. Dehan and Oscar A. Oscar A is a Joanne Sloan Allen entry of the 10-year-old Belgian-bred stallion by Harley with the Cardento mother. Also owned by the Sycamore Horse Farm and Sammy himself. Just raising his hand. Going to take a little pause. So we are sitting now on the 2 clear. Harry Charles just went clear. So we've got an assured jump off. And Sammy just making a circle and on his way. This horse has a huge gallop. And interesting fact about Harley is there's a lot of up-and-coming ones in the sport. They tend to have a lot of blood and they're sort of sensitive horses. And oddly enough, you either seem to get a usually really careful and big and scopy or sort of small and bloody. It's sort of the combination of, you know, careful and scopy or small and bloody that you get with Harley. So you don't really know which one you're going to get, and it really depends on the mother. And oddly enough, on the mother side of this horse is also Cardento, which is also real hit or miss. You're not really sure. You either get great, or we've seen sort of many Cardentos in the sport that are kind of average, but you can get a really great one as well. So just looking like canter, has a really big canter, this horse, just getting a little bit close to those front poles. He's had 2 downs so far. Clears the last, but we'll pick up 4 on the clock, 8 on the course. 74.30 is that time with the 12 faults, and they will slot into 10th at the moment. So course certainly proving to be challenging today, especially that time allowed, which then of course forces some more rails that come down because people are nervous about making those sharp turns back to the jumps to keep the time allowed, and that can easily screw up a little bit of the distances and make things not so easy to get to properly. And that's why I think we're seeing more faults than normal. But challenging course, but we've already seen 2 clear, so definitely jumpable. All right, we're going to take a look at Germany's Rupert Karl Winkelmann and Quinn 33. They were our winner from a couple of weeks ago in one of the 150 speeds. Very fast horse, very careful. Steadies up here for that Liverpool. So he does the 8 around the turn there. Again, this horse has a lot of revs to the canter, so he can do 1 more stride and still keep the energy up. Not maybe necessarily the largest stride out there, so for him, doing 1 more is no problem. Has the plank down. Actually, first time we've seen the plank come down, and that's the 15th to go in the order, and it's the first time that the plank has actually come down. He has it down behind, right up to the base here through this double. And big stretch at the last, but gets over that one. We'll pick up just that plank. 4 faults, 68.07. Look how fast that time was. I believe that might have been our fastest time so far of the class. And I am just going to check that for you guys. And it was the fastest 4 fall, fastest time so far, 68.07. So time allowed clearly tight, but doable. All right, let's take a look at Canada's Aaron Ballard. Aaron is sitting on Hero, the Elon Ferder and Esperanza Imports LLC entry of the 12-year-old Dutch bred gelding by Otangelo. So she makes an interesting approach to number 1. She came off the left. Most people are coming off the right. She either felt that her horse was stronger off the left or maybe didn't want to canter past the in-gate because that can kind of draw the horse's attention away. She does have number 2 down. Sort of a simple plain vertical, has that little black plank at the bottom of it. Sometimes they kind of stare down at that and don't see the top pole. So Always those sort of simple, plain jumps early on in the course when the horse's focus maybe isn't super sharp. Steadies up here for the 5. Can see kicks out really nicely behind. That was nicely done. She sort of stayed out and kept the pace up for the 7. Stays on that inside. Gets over the last. She will just be over that time allowed, however. 1 time fault, 4 on the course. So a total of 5 for Aaron Ballard and Hero. All right. Now we're going to take a look at USA's Alexandre Vulpi. And Vulpi is sitting on Berinda. Longtime partnership, 16-year-old mare, owned and ridden by Alexandre Vulpi herself. This horse is by Berlin 8 with the Gento mother. Very abnormal breeding. Really kind of unknown pedigree because it was born in the eastern part of Europe. And very little tracking goes on there as far as breeding. And not even that much breeding goes on there. So unknown, but still been a super horse for her. Horse she took to the World Cup finals. Looking good so far. Steadies up beautifully there, using her upper body. A little bit of a touch at the back pole of B, but just very light. That stays up. Cuts across the middle nicely here. Steadies up, but had a lot of speed still. She kind of, you could see she sat up and tried to slow down, but she just carried a lot of speed as she took off. And then the horse just trailed the hind end a little bit, having that plank down. And gets over the last, but we'll have that 1 down. 4 faults, 69.58. So within that time allowed, but does pick up the 1 down with just the plank. So 4 faults for Miss Vulpi and Berinda. All right, and now we're going to take a look at Egypt's Nile Nasser and the Evergate Stables LLC and Niles' own entry, Ivory TCS. 11-year-old mare by Falaise de Muse with the Ukado mother. And slightly newer mount for Nile. Again, was formerly seen under Daniel Coyle. Won our, I believe, CSIO 4-star Grand Prix last year down here. But Niles had the ride for a few months. And, of course, Niles was absolutely wonderful in last night's 5-star Grand Prix on his other horse, Igor. Incredible first round clear. Looking good so far. This horse very, very careful. And just looked like came out of the turn and maybe was looking at something. And when Niall went to put his leg on, the mare just kind of took her eye off the jump and started to canter a little bit to the side. Just looking at it. Very, very sharp horse. Really good jumper. And actually, this horse, I believe, came out of the VDL auction here in Wellington a couple of years ago. Looking like Niall may retire within the round. And so they will call it a day, make their way out of the arena. And that means we're going to move on to our next, which looks like Laura Kraut and Calgary Tame. 12-year-old gelding, owned by Eugenie Angot and Stars and Stripes. ridden by the one and only Laura Kraut, ranked 28th in the world at the moment. And 58 years young. Laura looking very good so far on this horse. Can be quite quick. So if she gets into our jump off, we know how fast she can be on this horse. Beautiful ride there. Strong out of the corner. A little bit of a stumble maybe on the backside of that, but keeps going. The horses are actually jumping the triple beautifully. We're not seeing too much trouble through there. Steadies up for the plank. Ooh, did you see that? Rocking in the cups. Touched it behind. Remember, those flat cups that the planks sit on. So there's no kind of lip to the cup that the plank sits on. It's very, very flat. So if you just touch it, it can shift on that flat cup. Big stride to the last. Look at that time. And clear round for Laura. Gets a little bit lucky at that plank, but you know what? In our sport, we need some luck sometimes. So that's bringing us up to 3 clear at the moment. Calgary Tame and Laura Kraut adding their name to our good list. Weather looks like it is deteriorating a little bit here. Unfortunately, not so pleasant out. And maybe we're supposed to get a little bit of rain, supposedly. But the wind is up a little bit, and it's looking a little cloudy. Hopefully we won't get the deluge that we saw the other day, but we may get a little drops. All right, second mount for USA's Katherine A. Dinan. This time Katie's sitting on a Tika de Auvent, the 14-year-old mare owned by the Grant Road Partners, LLC. Everybody always loving this horse. Just looks like so much fun to ride. This really classically bred French horse by Rock and Roll Semele with the Sheriff Dell mother. Always hard to talk about French breeding a little bit because, one, France is so huge that it's hard to follow everything. And there's a lot of sort of infrequency with each stallion that they use, literally because of the size of the country. I mean, sometimes, you know, in Holland and Belgium, yeah, just coming in a little bit fast there and trails the hind end a bit at A and B. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times in Belgium and Holland, you see them do breeding and it's really, you know, you see one stallion that'll breed 300 or 400. And in France, you'll see stallions that never breed more than 50 or 60 in their lifetime. So hard to track traits when it comes to breeding out of France. Really good here at the end. She jumped in really, really well. I thought the horse really pat the ground and jumped great, but just jumping a little bit quick and at the jumps today. So she will pick up 1 on the clock, 3 on the course, total of 13 times 71.51 for Katie Dinan and Atika. So not their day today, but still a horse that I like. All right, let's take a look at the second entry for Belgium's Zoe Conter. Zoe now is sitting on Enrico de la Palme, 10-year-old gelding, owned by Gert Bateson and by Vigo Darsui with the Ingmar mother. So we had a couple down on her other mount, but let's see if she can improve upon that with Enrico. Again, 3 clear at the moment on what is looking like a challenging enough course here for today's $62,500 Hermes CSI 5-star meter 50 Classic. Maybe just got there a little bit early as the front pole of the orange. Again, that is such an awkward line because it's set behind the palm trees. They kind of doubled up and put the two palm trees together in the middle of the ring, and it creates this very big island, but very much blocks your line of sight. So when you jump that Liverpool at number 4, you can't even see number 5. So really blind around that. She does have the 1 down, but we'll have to see on her time. She looks a little bit behind to me. She's going to be right on the edge. She might make it in. No. She does pick up a 1-time fault, 0.6 of a second over, 71.63. So 1 on the clock, 4 jumping for Zoe and Enrico de la Palme. All right, let's move on to Ireland's Cian O'Connor and Maurice. This horse has been jumping beautifully for Cian, owned by Pat Crean. 12-year-old gelding by Thunder van de Zoetove with the Eros Platier mother. And again, Cian having such a strong string of horses at the moment. Such a huge team behind him, supporting not only his farm back in Ireland at Carlswood, but also has a lot of different people that he owns the horses with, and just tremendous support. And he's been having a really good season. Beautiful here. Just maybe getting there a little bit early. You know, we hadn't seen so many faults in the triple, and now we're seeing a little bit more at A and B come down. Don't think we've seen C come down yet. Just softens there on takeoff, lets the horse jump around the plank. And now you can see Cian really just using this as a training round, not worrying about the time allowed whatsoever. Just wanting to set the horse up to jump the jumps as well as possible. Maurice always a little bit spunky, sometimes bucking a little bit in between the lines. And gets over the last, but will pick up 6 on the clock, 76.68 and 8 on the course. So total of 14 for Cian and Maurice today. So we still just have our 3 clear. And now we're going to take a look at Lebanon's Jad and Ichko de Dam. 10-year-old gelding, owned by the Itchy Group. Former ride of Tiago Rivas da Costa. This horse is by Marius Claudius with the Calvaro mother. If Jad gets into our jump off, we know how competitive he can be. But let's see if he can do it. We got to get through this first round first, which is clearly proving to be challenging. And we've seen faults really come all over the place. It's just, that's what everyone sort of says about Alan Wade. He does such a great job because, dare I say, the courses are a little death by 1,000 cuts. You don't have one big gouge somewhere. It's always just small little things here and there that catch people out. And we heard Alan speaking about the Grand Prix course last night on the live stream, and he was saying that, you know, he sets things that some horses will handle well while other horses will struggle with, and vice versa. So I think that's always his game plan, is never to put the horses in an unfair position, but just to challenge each individual animal to their weaknesses and see if the rider can compensate. So just that 1 down so far. You had the front pole of the teal Oxer, but we'll be very quick, 66.97 with the 4 faults. That'll actually make him our fastest 4-faulter at the moment, sitting in 7th place for Jad and Ichko. So he was very clever there, he was quick to begin with, but once he had that one down, he was even faster, just thinking, all right, I got to stay up there. And again, we have a couple of time falters, so that's why he's in 7th with the 3 clear and the 3 on time faults. He will be the fastest of the 4. All right, moving on to Brazil's Gabriel Damat Masado and his second entry of the class, Lenin and Sandro. The 10-year-old gelding by Sandra Boy with the Clinton mother, owned by Baywinds Equestrian LLC and Kirsten Kopp Real Estate LLC. A little bit shifty here. Was a little bit far off that at number 3, but good stretch there from the horse. And then just getting there a little bit easy in the 6, having A and B down. That's what we seem to be seeing happen. People getting there a little bit in the 6, a little too early, and then having A and B down. So triple in the earlier stages was not coming down so much, but now the last few we've seen come down quite a bit. Stays on the inside track for the last. Big push to the last. And he will, unfortunately, pick up a time fault as well. Just a 1/10 of a second over that time allowed. 71.10. 8 on the course, 1 on the clock. So 9 total for Gabriel and Lenin and Sandro. So 3 clear at the moment. And we're going to take a look at Ireland's Dermot Lenin. There we can see him standing at the gate. And he's just making some last-minute tack adjustments. Looks like he was tightening his girth. And in he comes on Anthem in My Heart. This is the horse that has no breeding information whatsoever. But we know he's a 10-year-old gelding owned by Dermot himself. All right. Let's see what he can do and see if he can add his name to that good list. So far, 3. We've got Kendra Brinkhoff, we've got Harry Charles, and Laura Kraut. So already we know it's going to be a super jump off. 3 speedy combinations. Has to stay neat here. It looks a little bit like he turned early and then went out a little bit more to fit that. Unfortunately, having that offset Liverpool down behind was just a little bit dead, and the horse just never quite finished behind. Needed to kind of curl around it. And he jumped good in front, but then just never really pushed away from it behind. Actually pushed really well there at A coming into the triple. Ooh. And then he tries to do the 4 there. Again, that 5 is very steady. We saw Harry Charles do the 4. But he just didn't quite get there. He was trying for it. It was a good effort. Wonder why he chose to do that. We've seen the majority of the class do it in 5. And then he stays out a little steady to the last, has that down as well. 12 on the course, 1 on the clock, 13 total, 71.54 for Dermot, Lenin, and Anthem in My Heart. All right, now we're going to take a look at the wonderful Dekas and Margie Goldstein-Engel. Owned by Selma Garber, Gladewinds Partners LLC, Show Horses Incorporated, and Storm Ridge Capital LLC. It's the horse with perhaps the most owners of the class. But Dekas is a 15-year-old gelding by Diarardo with the Cassini 1 mother. Margie looking like she's taken the left-handed approach to number 1. Again, this has been a partnership for so many years and so much success. Ooh, a little bit long there at number 2. You could see Margie just trying to move up to it. Was a little bit far off it. Slight stutter step, but no problem for Dekas. They know each other so well. Keeps the energy going. This horse does it so easily. Little pause there on takeoff. Comes in a little bit hot into the double, or into the triple, but backs up great. So clears that. There, Margie really steadying up. Gets across that well. So simple through the double. 1 left to go. She looks good on the clock. And she absolutely is. Margie Goldstein-Angle adding her name to our good list with Dekas. So that takes our count up to 4 at the moment. And very excellent performance by Margie. Of course, that wonderful partnership that's been around for so long. But let's see what the winning partnership from a couple of weeks ago in our meter 50 speed can do. It's USA's Kathleen Driscoll and Flotilla. This is the 13-year-old mare owned by Donald Stewart, by Alvaro with the Ballard du Reut mother. So now she does a lot of strides here from 1 to 2. We'll have to keep an eye on her time. Again, this is a very, very fast horse. It's very quick across the ground. It's quick across the jumps, but she was a little bit patient 1 to 2, and I think that is the one of the places where you can try to make up a little bit of time early on. But again, this horse naturally very fast. Good ride there. Took the first one out of the corner, but really supported it well. A little bit close to C, but light rub stays up. Just slinks over the skinny. Keeps moving here right to the base. Oh, and unfortunately, that penultimate fence coming down again. B of the double. 67.40, so fine with the time, but does pick up that 1 down, unfortunately, for Kathleen and Flotilla. So they will not be making it into our jump off. Again, sitting on 4 clear at the moment. But let's see what the USA's Molly Ash Colley and Echo VH Herendal Z can do. 12-year-old mare owned by the Sky Group by Echo. Echo Van Spielveld in this case, with the Eudokus mother. So, same first name as his father, but a little bit of a different second and third names. Molly, of course, just such an amazingly scrappy and fighter of a rider. Always tries to leave the jumps up, has had so much success for so many years on a ton of different horses. And there, just looked like the horse kind of stalled on takeoff. And just was way too far off it when she took off. I think Molly came through the corner thinking it was fine, and then the horse really held himself off that jump. And she looks like she's going to call it a day. Didn't like that approach. So that will be a retirement within the round for Molly Ashcali as she voluntarily withdraws. All right, looks like that is going to be our midway break. So we are going to take a little bit of time for them to reset the ground. They're going to drag, water, refresh everything, reset the jumps. Again, sitting on 4 clear at the moment. That's Do It Easy and Kendra Brinkup, Aelin Blue and Harry Charles, Calgary Tame and Laura Kraut, and Dikas and Margie Goldstein Angle. To round out our 4 at the moment, we're at our midway. Thanks, of course, to Hermes, our title sponsor of today's class. And since the company was founded in 1837, Hermes remains dedicated to making high-quality, handcrafted equestrian products for the horse, rider, and barn. Our workshops maintain a tradition of saddle making passed down from generation to generation of skilled artisans. With a strong commitment to innovation, Hermes integrates new materials and technology to develop high-performance technical apparel and equipment to meet the needs of riders at the highest levels of equestrian sport. And of course, thanks to our season-long sponsor of our live stream, Damat Technologies. They present our live stream all season long here. Damat Technologies is an industry leader in creative design and technology support services for sports, entertainment, corporate, and special events. Visit us online at damatechnologies.com. Today's live stream is also presented in part with the support of the U.S. Equestrian Federation and the USEF Network. We're going to take a quick pause now, and don't go anywhere. The second half of our $62,500 Hermes CSI 5-star Meter 50 Classic is coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, everybody. The tractor's looking like they're just making their final passes across the arena. Again, we're here for the $62,500 Hermes CSI 5-star meter 50 Classic. And we have seen half the class jump. 4 are clear at the moment. The second half coming up shortly. Those 4 clear so far. Do It Easy and Kendra Clarissa Brinkup. Aelin Blue and Harry Charles. Calgary Tame and Laura Kraut. And rounding out the 4, Dekas and Margie Goldstein Angle, the oldest horse in the class. So far looking challenging out there for Alan Wade's built course. For the conclusion, there you can see our jump-off qualifiers. But certainly challenging for the conclusion of this Bainbridge 5-star week here in Wellington, week 9. That means only 3 more weeks to go. Crazy how that is. All right, and we're getting our second half underway. And to start us off is going to be looking like a horse that doesn't quite want to go into the corner of the ring. But it is going to be USA's Adrian Sternlicht and the Starlight Farms 1 LLC entry, Casanio PS. Must have seen something he did not like, but the start clock is going, so she'll have to find her way to the first jump. And there she goes, off and away. Okay, 4 clear at the moment. Let's see if Adrian getting this second half started. Whew, a little bit dead here, just looking like maybe something is not right with Casanio. And he is just hesitating a little bit. So that will be a short-lived start to our first half, but we will move on to our next one. Adrian just making her way out now. That's horses for you, folks. Sometimes they just get a little bit shy. All right, there's our next one. It's going to be USA's Hannah Selleck. Hannah sitting on her wonderful, wonderful horse, Cloud 39, owned by the Descanso farm. And Cloud is a 13-year-old gelding by Clary Moe with the Quintero mother. Of course, this is the horse that Hannah rode in the Longines League of Nations competition in Abu Dhabi a couple of weeks ago for the U.S. team. And he's now back over here out of quarantine and everything. And she had a beautiful round the other day on him and setting him up for today's class. Let's see if they can add their name to the good list. They've had tremendous success together. Jumped all the way up to the 5-star Grand Prix in Calgary last summer. But Hannah and this horse are a wonderful partnership. Really scopy horse, this. Very typical Clary Moe. Hard to see what happens as she's going directly away from me, but has the front pole of 3. Almost want to say it just looked like she didn't quite get into a rhythm to number 1. But getting going here. Jumps up high around that. Having C down out of the triple, actually first time we've seen C come down. A couple people have touched it, but it has not come down. And then having the front pole here. This is a bit of an atypical round for Hannah and Cloud. Normally we see them jumping clear round after clear round. Just not quite going their way today. And that's sometimes what happens. Hard to say. Big jump at the last, but she will pick up a few on that clock. Set 5 on the clock, actually, and 20 jumping faults, total of 25. Time 75.12 for Hannah. And just not their day, but it will be somebody's day today. And we've got 4 in that jump off so far. But let's see if USA's Jessica Springstein and her second mount, Naomi Van Het Kaisershof, the 11-year-old mare owned by the Stonehill Farm. Sourced by Cardento with the For Pleasure mother. Jess was wonderful on her first mount, came in. She just had a couple of time faults, but a beautiful clear jumping round. So clearly she knows what she needs to do out there, and now she just needs to do it a little bit quicker. And this horse has been such a great horse for her. So fast. She was second in the speed on Friday with her. Beautiful jump there. And Jess just has such a beautiful style of riding. Nice sort of high hand carriage. Back with those shoulders. And Jess and I both worked with Helena Stormans plenty of times, and can hear Helena's voice in the background saying, shoulders up, shoulders back. We're always joking about that because we can hear her voice in our head telling us, and Jess really embodies that beautifully. You can see that tall upper body and the shoulders back really helps the balance of the horse. Little stretch there coming in, jumps that great. Looks like she should be okay on the time, clears the last, and she will add her name to the good list. 70.49 is her time. And that'll be the first clear of our second half. But Naomi and Jess making it 5 on the good list so far. But beautiful round there. She made that look absolutely simple. Clearly that course suited her beautifully because she jumped 2 clear jumping rounds on both of her horses today. Well done, Jess. Okie dokie. Moving on to the young superstar, 18-year-old Zaina Rizvi for her home nation of the USA. The Kung Fu group, Kung Fu. This is a 9-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Arezzo with the Tangelo mother. Another rider with a beautiful position, just keeps it nice and simple. She rode that beautifully on the bend there. That was, hard rub at the cask, and unfortunately that does fall a little bit late as the camera passes. You'll see it there on the ground, unfortunately. Just had it down behind. And there, cuts down a little bit at B, having the back pull. Horse just didn't stretch across that triple enough. And sits up at the skinny nicely. Stays out on the curve there, but unfortunately having the front pole. She'll pick up 2 on the clock, 72.12, 4 on the course. So 18 total. 4 down, so 18 total for Zaina and Kung Fu. All right, 5 on the good list at the moment, and we're going to move on to a lady who was wonderful and actually placed, I believe, 5th on this horse earlier in the week in one of the earlier, I think, 145 class, 140 or 145 classes on this horse, Elka de la Palme and Israel's Ashley Bond. Owned by Elon Ferder, 10-year-old mare by Cartoon with the Cannon mother. Again, Ashley's been developing this horse over the last period, bringing it along, just moving it up to this level. And this is a super talented jumper, very, very athletic. And I think Ashley does a great job managing the rideability on this horse. As you can see, no noseband, just letting her open her mouth if she wants to. But such a springy jumper. But it's definitely still very green at this level. But Ashley's done a great job bringing her along. Good through the triple there. Ashley doing such an incredible job generating energy into the horses, really creates that. She does a great job with her other horse, Donatello, who she jumped in the 5-star Grand Prix last night. She had just one down yesterday, but it was a great round. Steadies up for the 8. Little stretch there. Hard rub at A, but luckily that stays up. Does the one more here and gets over the last well within that time, 68.20. And clear for Ashley Bond. Look at that smile on her face. And she's very happy. Again, I've been very excited about this horse for Ashley. I think it's been jumping beautifully, and what a great round. So that takes our count up to 6 at the moment on the good list. And we'll move on to the USA's Caitlin Connors and the Caitlin Connors LLC entry, Falcon de Hoos Z. 15-year-old gelding by Florian de la Vie with an Atlantis as FRH mother. So 6 on the good list so far. It's certainly been challenging out here. Seems like the time alloved's playing a little bit less of a factor this second half. People really understanding how quickly they need to travel across the ground and through the track here. Again, having to be very neat back on these rollbacks. She's a little bit wide here comparatively to some of the other people. Steadies up nicely here. A little bit of push at B. Little help at C. That was actually well done. Steadying up for the 5. Again, we've seen the plank down. You know, there she really lands and gallops away. I think she's thinking about that time allowed. Takes the first one out of the corner there. She'll definitely make up some time here, but we'll have to look at the time. I think she might be okay. She's looking good. Gets over the last, and oh, she just made it. Look at that, 70.92. And clear round for Caitlin Connors. So that's actually 2 in a row, taking our count up to 7 now on the good list. And looking like they're figuring out the course a little bit. And jumping well. And look, even the sun is starting to peek through. It's been a little bit cloudy and misty the last couple of, minutes or so. But now it looks like the sun is trying to peek through. It is a little bit cloudy and breezy here today in Wellington. It is very warm and balmy out there. But this has been an ugly season for weather at WEF. But doesn't seem to bother our next one. Natalie Dean of the USA and .com Doto. 11-year-old mare, owned by the Marigold Sport Horses LLC. This horse by Damat. And again, Natalie on her own a little bit this week. Her new coach, Ben Mayer, is over in Den Bosch. And for those of you who watched, the winner of that was almost Henrik von Eckermann and King Edward, but instead the hometown hero of Willem Greve and Highway won that class. So you can always go back and watch the Rolex Grand Slam. But that means Ben Mayer's not here this week, but Natalie's still riding beautifully. A little bit quick through here. You can see the front legs were just trailing a little bit, but luckily gets over it. .com flying here. Sets up. This horse has a lot of blood. Trying to be neat She's looking good so far. Stays on this. A little bit shift and swap there on takeoff, but gets through B. She's fine on the time. Gets over the last, and another clear. So 3 in a row, 67.91. And that means Natalie Dean, needing no help from Ben Mayer, able to make her way into our jump off. So 8 on the good list right now. And now we can see the German rider just casually coming in without any stirrups. Just nice and relaxed. Wrap those legs around the horse, sitting trot. It's a nice way to start. Puts his feet in the stirrups, and we are looking at Germany's Rupert Karl Winkelmann and Omar van de Hunters. It's the Eichendorff Forces GmbH & Co. entry by Hunter Sandro with the Canadian River mother. It's a 10-year-old Belgian-bred gelding. He had just the plank down on his other horse, Quinn. Let's see if he can improve upon that with Omar. Looking good so far. Been working with Sean Crooks a bit recently. Just getting a little bit of advice, and it seems to be working well. Rupert's had a very good season. Jumps through the triple very simply. Steadies up here in the 5, and then you could see the horse just never finished that last stride, kind of skipped off the ground. That's why that plank comes down. Just not able to really set himself, and then gets a little bit deep to the skinny. So it was looking simple. Just that one little struggle point, and then unfortunately having the last down as well. Good time, 69.56, but 3 on the course will be 12 faults total for Rupert. And that'll put him into 23rd place at the moment. All right, we're looking at the world number 10, USA's McLean Ward and First Lady. This is the Robin Parsky entry of the 11-year-old mare by Don Diarardo with the Lord Danos mother. And I've watched this horse a bunch throughout season. McLean just bringing her up to this level, and very sporty horse to see. Can see great uphill balance. Beautiful jump there. Such a pleasure to watch McLean ride. Just so solid in every decision he makes. And the execution is just spot on. So much focus. This horse, not the biggest horse, but very athletic. Steadies up here. This horse also has a beautiful expression. You can see the ears forward the whole time. Really studying the jumps. Curls around that. Stays on it here for the 7. Unfortunately, for having the front pole down, he was just moving up towards that 7 and maybe just kind of pushed that front pole out of the way as he got there with a little bit of speed. Not a quick enough time, 69.05, but 4 faults for McLean and First Lady. So they'll go into 15th at the moment with that 1 down. We've actually seen B of that double come down a little bit more than A, but unfortunately for McLean, it'll be the 1 down. All right, and now we're taking a look at another young superstar for the USA. 19-year-old Mimi Gotchman. She's ranked 107th in the world at the moment. She's sitting on the 9-year-old gelding owned by DG Sport Horse LLC. It's Inklen BH. This horse is a beautiful jumper, by Staccato Gold with the Raphael mother. Of course, riding with Derek Kenny. Maybe has had such tremendous success. Again, such a secure rider, such great feeling. Sits up beautifully. Look at that body control she uses through the triple, just like she doesn't even move. Horse just jumps right up to her. That was so beautifully done. It's not, she makes it look very, very easy, but I can tell you folks, it's not. It is certainly not to have that much body control. And at such a young age. You can see her really use that outside rein, outside leg there to keep the shape on the bend, so she kept the straightness of the jump. And look at that. Beautiful clear round, also making it look simple as can be. 68-36 and clear for Mimi Gotchman and Inklen BH. So that'll be 9 for our jump off. And looking like we've got about, maybe about 15 or so left to jump. All right, it's going to be a second entry for USA's Alexandre Vulpi. And Candy Luck Z. Candy Luck is a 9-year-old mare owned and ridden by Alexandra herself. Sourced by Comilfo with the Canturo mother. She's looking good so far. A little bit quick there. Has to reel it in a little bit, but this horse has such an exceptional jump behind. Look how well it opens up over the oxers. It's a really incredible jumper. Almost overpowers itself with that hind end, lands a little bit low on the front end because of it, but can't fault it for having such an exceptional athleticism. Look at that beautiful jump. You can see Alexandra getting pitched forward a little bit on the landing just because of that balance. Beautiful there. Also very scopy. She really just held it straight there. She's looking good. Time looks fine. Beautiful jump around the last and clear for Alexandre Vulpi and Candy Luck. What a beautiful jumper. 69.98 is her time. So that'll take our count up to 10. So that's another 2 in a row on the clear. But that horse is truly an exceptional jumper. Beautiful to watch. All right. We're now going to move on to Irish rider Michael Duffy and the Rushy Marsh Farm LLC entry RMF Clinton Son. 12-year-old stallion by Clinton with the Heartbreaker mother. Formerly seen under Jessica Springstein. And Michael just recently taking over the ride. Very careful horse this. Not the biggest horse. But certainly a good jumper. Cameraman getting a little lost there as he follows Michael. Looking good here so far. And again, newer ride. This horse looks like it needs a fair bit of motivation and then just gets hung up a little bit. He was a little bit far off that as he took off and has the back pole. Horse just struggling to reach across it a little bit. This horse jumps up really high. It's very careful and it jumps up really high, but just needs to learn to jump across a little bit more. And again, Michael and the horse not really knowing each other. And you can see just motivating here. Does the 7, jumps up nicely around the last, but just will have that one down. 69.78 is that time allowed. 4 faults for Michael Duffy and RMF Clinton Sun. So, solid round there for the two of them. 10 clear at the moment. We've seen a fair bit clear in the second half. But let's see. If the man who was beautifully clear with a time fault or 2 last night in our 5-star Grand Prix, it's Canada's Kyle Tim and Atomica de Sequoia Z. 10-year-old mare owned by the Rain Family LLC. This horse by Arezzo VDL with the Sakor mother. Kyle been riding absolutely beautiful. My husband was saying that he's normally based in France, but he's been over here all season riding for the Rain family and been doing an incredible job, I would say. I think just beautiful, jumping a couple of 5 stars clear with some time faults, but like unbelievable jumping rounds. And Kyle just so solid. And I think absolutely throwing his name into the hat for Olympic possibilities for Canada. A little bit of a stretch there across that oxer. Gets through the triple. It's a little bit close there, but gets through it. Sits up nice there for the 5. I think he's looking okay on the time. We'll keep an eye on it, but funky move there a little bit from the horse at A. He's a little close on the time, actually. Let's see if I think he's going to be okay. Yeah, he is. Look at that. Another clear. See, putting in those solid rounds. Kyle Tim clear 70.54. And Atomica will add their name to our jump off, and that will bring our count up to 11. So it is going to be a speedy jump off with everyone vying for that prize money of $62,500 for the Hermes CSI 5-star meter 50 Classic to close out the Bainbridge week here. The penultimate 5-star of the season, with 3 more weeks to go leading up to that Rolex finale of week 12. So no shortage of great show jumping ahead. But first, let's take a look at the second ride for Vanessa Hood, an FBW graphic. Owned by Coleridge Equestrian LLC. It's the 11-year-old mare by Graph Rhapsody and the numero uno mother. I actually have not seen this horse jump yet, which seems amazing that I haven't seen this one, or maybe I don't remember it. But Vanessa jumped the 5-star last night, training with Norman Del Gioio. She's been riding. Ooh, just stabbed the ground a little bit there. Just didn't quite want to keep going. Not sure what the horse saw. Sometimes the horses see something that we don't see. Those are those avocado green colored poles with the pink fan standards set up right against the VIP. It's a pretty solid, imposing jump. It's funny that the rails are very plain, but something about the standards, and it's quite a wide oxer, and we've seen a couple of horses even come into the ring and balk a little bit at that. So they're seeing something that we don't see. Remember, horses, their eyes are on the side of their head. They're a little bit colorblind, so they see things very, very differently than we do. Beautiful jump there, but you could see he was definitely staring at something because he jumped real high. B comes, I think A and B maybe came down, or at least B for sure. Steadies up here, a little bit of a touch at the plank, but luckily that one stays in the cups. See if she can hold on to this 12-fault score to the end. Having the front pole there coming into that double. We've seen that a little bit. Gets a little bit direct in that line. And gets over the last, but with the circle, she will finish up. 16 on the course, 13 on the clock. 83.74 is their time for Graphic and Vanessa Hood. Okay. We are making our way down the list here, and we're going to take a look at the Chatwood Farms LLC entry Chateau 7 with Nicolette Hurt. 15-year-old gelding by Choco Blue with a Toulon mother. Former ride of Nikki Shahanian Simpson. But Nikki Hurt has had the ride on this horse now for quite a while and been a good partnership for her. Horse has a very big gallop. There just looked like she got there in a place where the horse just couldn't take off with any kind of real power. And then it's looking like she may be saying, not our day. Waves that hand and will retire within the round early on for Nikki Hurt and Chateau 7. Just didn't like the feeling of that, and then maybe she's just going to come back and jump a courtesy fence. Of course, you are allowed to jump a jump you've already completed. So she'll call it a day, and we'll move on to our next. It's going to be the second entry for Egypt's Nile Nasser. And Nile is sitting on the Evergate Stables LLC ESI Ali. 9-year-old gelding by Staccato Gold. I'd actually seen a video of this horse years ago, and I really liked it. I thought it was going to be definitely a top sport horse. I've seen it jump now a couple times for Nile, and it's been absolutely super. Really sporty. I mean, it just is the epitome of a modern sport horse if you see it. Big gallop, nice balance, blood, good jumper, looks athletic, careful. Again, you'll never know what they really turn into. He's only 9 years old right now, but certainly a promising one for Niles String. Looking good so far. Look at that. Opened up beautifully there behind. Curls around that. A little bit of a stretch. Kind of dove across the back pole there, but makes it. Great jump at the teal. Very careful there. Definitely landing and shifting a little bit. Nile looked down for a second. Not sure what he was looking at. Could have lost his stirrup maybe. I think he did. You see he has only the one stirrup, doing a good job staying on. And looks like he's ignoring trying to have the stirrup, but doesn't matter because he jumps the clear. Look at that, 70.85. And on the clear for Nile Nasser and ESI Ali. So that will bring us up to a dozen clear at the moment with about 10 left to jump. But well done to Nile there, having one stirrup for the last third of the class, of the course. All right, we're going to move on to the second entry for Katherine Tyree Flores. And the Katherine Tyree LLC entry, Newton Van Het Krekkelhoff. It's the 11-year-old gelding by Damat with the contact Van de Heffink mother. And Kat was clear with a couple of time faults on her previous mount, Camila. So let's see if she can improve upon that and just go a little bit quicker and keep the jumps up with Newton. And this is a little bit of a slower mover, and she already knows that the track she took with Camila was a little bit slow. Unfortunately, she does have the top pull of that offset Liverpool vertical. So won't be making it into our jump off. But they do place up to 16th. So for those world ranking points. So if she can be quick enough, she could still be in there. Good there. Can see she was thinking about her time. She's definitely inside everybody else's tracks right here, so that was very well done by her. Unfortunately, with that second one down, it won't really matter, but good round there. She'll finish up just with a 2 down, 8 faults, 69.77 for Katherine Tyree Flores and Newton Van Het Krekkelhoff. All right, now we're going to take a look at the second entry for Kendra Clarissa Brinkup and Nectar Van de Bisschop. It's the Stefex Stables and the STX Scuderia 1918 Capital SRL entry of the 11-year-old Stallion by Echo Van Spieveld with the Darko mother. It's a Belgian-bred horse. And we can know that from the Van de Bisschop because that is a Belgian stud. She's here riding for Stefex Stables, and Stefan Conter was in Sunshine Tour a couple weeks ago. So all over the world competing this winter. And I believe it's her first time here in Wellington. First week as well. And she's been super. Beautiful jump there. Jumps a little bit forward at the cask vertical. Well done there through the triple. She made that look simple. This horse also having a great expression. Really ears forward, looking for the jumps. There, she was a little bit almost far off A and had a lot of speed, and I think that's why B came down. She was just really traveling coming into that double. So she will pick up the 2 down, 8 faults. 70.91 is her time, so she's just under that time allowed, but has the 2 down. She'll go into 28th place at the moment. All right, now we're going to take a look at a horse and rider combination that have won this very class. It's Lebanon's Jad and After 8. This horse is owned by Spring Hill Farm 1850 LLC, and he's sitting on the 14-year-old mare by Diarardo with the Cardento mother. And it's a Swedish-bred horse that can be lightning fast if he gets into the jump off. Again, this horse has won this class before. Or at least he's won the meter 50 Hermes Classic before. I'm not sure if it was this week. Really moving there in the 7. Big stretch out there. Almost left a little bit too much room at that vertical. Somehow jumped a little shallow at the green. But this horse, such a trier. And just a little bit landed shallow off of A, was just a little bit too far away from B. Stretched to try to make it, but unfortunately not getting there. Jad really trusting the carefulness on this horse. Kind of dropping her a little bit on takeoff and just... There you can see, just trying to help her stretch a little bit. So he'll finish up 70.85, just on the 4 faults. Just under that time allowed, but has the 1 down for Jad and after 8. That'll take us over to our next one, Mexico's Carlos Hank Guerrero. An H5 Origi Horta. 10-year-old gelding, owned by Carlos himself, as well as the H5 Sport Horses LLC. Actually owned by Carlos Hank Gonzalez, not Guerrero. A little bit of a pause there at number 1, the way that he jumped that. Gets over it, but slight hesitation. Beautiful jump there. Carlos has had a great run recently. Won this class a couple of weeks ago and won a 3-star Grand Prix up in Ocala. So he's been doing tremendously well, super consistent. Beautiful jump there at the teal oxer. A little bit close at the plank, but no problem. It's a little bit this horse's technique. It sort of gets there and curls around it. Really jumps a beautiful jump at the oxers. Strong ride to the last. Oh, unfortunately coming down. And that means he will pick up the 4 faults at the last. Heartbreaker, 68.96 is his time. So he's well within that time allowed. But unfortunately, having the last one down. Okay, now it looks like we're going to take a look at Adrian Sternlich's 2nd entry of the class, Starlight Farms 1 LLC entry, Clemens 72. So looking like the first of our remaining 5 to jump. This is a 10-year-old gelding by Choco Blue with a Canthargos mother. This is a super talented jumper, and Adrian also been developing this horse over the last couple of years. He jumps so high in the air, just trying to get him back down to earth a little bit, but very, very talented jumper. Look at that, amazing jump. She has a couple of horses that jump similarly to this at the moment. They're having the front pole down of number 2. And looking like actually the back pole of 3 comes down as well. Again, I've seen a lot of really good rounds from Clemens recently, so uncharacteristic early faults from him. Big jump there. This horse really jumping in his own unique style. Adrian having to kind of adapt to him a little bit. Gets through the triple. Wow, huge jump there. Look at that. Maybe just was a little bit like frozen when he came into the ring and having 2 and 3 down, because now he's absolutely flying. And sometimes, depending on how your warm-up goes, they can just come in and have a little bit of, dare I say, stage fright. They just come in a little bit frozen and then they loosen up. But like, look at this, the way he's jumping the last bit of the course. She'll pick up a few on the clock, 76.52. So 6 time faults and those 2 early faults for 8 on the course for Adrian and Clemens. But certainly a horse, I think, for the future. All right, and now we're going to take a look at Spencer Smith and his longtime partner, Theodore Mancias. 17-year-old gelding, owned by Ashland Farms. Former ride of Jan Kandel, but Spencer's had the ride on this horse for many, many years. Tremendous success. Winners of Grand Prix all across the world. And Theodore is by Cashmere with the Powerlight mother. And this horse has seen and done it all. Just sort of does it as simple as possible. Doesn't waste too much with an extravagant jump, just very simple. Looking good so far. He did have the 1 down. I think he had the back pole, the orange oxer, actually. And again, with an older horse like this, maybe Spencer, after having the 1 down, saying, no need to keep on going. It's a horse that he can absolutely win on the right day, but with the older horses, we know how hard it is to keep them healthy these days, so makes the decision to save them for another day. Okay, so Spencer will voluntarily withdraw and retire within our round, and that means we'll move on to our remaining 3 to go in this class. Sitting on the 12 clear at the moment. Let's see if we can make it a baker's dozen instead of just a dozen. But first to try that out is going to be Colombia's Roberto Tarantafour. And he's sitting on Santana. 10-year-old Holsteiner, or 11-year-old Holsteiner gelding by Rocking Basilisk Farm LLC. Out of Cascadella with the Cartago mother. This horse I saw jump the other day, and I think it pulled a shoe or did something after the first jump, and Roberto ended up pulling up. But looking like he's got him back now. Beautiful jump there. A lot of blood, real active canter this. And the mother of this horse was a good national horse in Germany. Picks up the pace a little bit here, thinking about that time allowed. Smart move to kind of keep coming around that turn. Gets over that. A little bit of a stretch at the teal oxer. Steadies up. This horse really bloody and active game. Looks kind of fun to ride, actually. Expressive jumper. Unfortunately, having the front pole of that oxer coming in, we've seen that a lot. Gets a little bit behind here, but he just adds his leg, moves up to the last. Unfortunately, having that oxer near the end, 4 faults. 69.24 was the time, but a very solid round there for Colombia's Roberto Taran and Santana. All right, first of our remaining 2 in this class, it's going to be the High Hopes Farm LLC entry, Forrestal and Elise Oken. 32 years of age, ranked 166th in the world. She had an absolutely cracking round last night in the 5-star Grand Prix. Had 1 or 2 time faults, but spectacular jumping. It was not easy jumping last night, only 5 in the jump off, so she had a hell of a round. But now she's sitting on Forrestal. This one is a 10-year-old gelding by Don DiRardo. Riding with Marcus and Meredith Beerbaum, but Elise has been so consistent over the last couple of years at the highest level, representing the U.S. team in multiple Senior Nations Cups. She won a big Grand Prix in the fall over in Spain. Unfortunately, having the front pole there, it looked like maybe she kind of went to soften with her hand, and the way she softened threw the balance of the horse off a little bit. She just kind of leaned forward and pushed her hand forward, and the horse just kind of jumped down a little bit and into that front pole. Jumps up beautifully there at the double. So maybe we'll see how her time is. Yeah, she'll pick up 1 on the clock as well, 71.22. So 1 on the clock for jumping, total of 5 for Elise Oken. That'll put her into 27th place at the moment with 1 left to jump. So again, sitting on the 12 clear at the moment, which is exactly kind of what you'd like to see in a class like this. It's been challenging, but doable. And we are on our last, which is, of course, USA's Jimmy Turano and Cochio Z. The Jimmy Turano entry, as well as Isalu Incorporated and the Jet Show Stables. This is a 10-year-old gelding by Cannon with the Diamant de Semele mother. Let's see if Jimmy can give us 1 more clear, because we're sitting on 12 at the moment. Can we make it a baker's dozen? We'll know very shortly. In just around 70 seconds. All right, and Jimmy is off. Beautiful jump at 1. Unfortunately, having the back pole of number 3, we've seen that come down a fair bit today. Actually, one of the things we can say about Alan Wade's courses is we've seen the jumps come down all over. I think almost every single jump on the course has fallen today, except number 1. Otherwise, I think we've literally seen every other jump come down, which is a sign of absolutely genius course building. It's always a pleasure to have Alan here. And he just has such nuance and subtlety to his courses and such a feel for the horse rider combinations in each class. A pleasure to watch. So Jimmy on the 2 down at the moment. He had that front pole of the avocado rail jump at number 7. A little bit far off the last, but gets a big jump. Clears that in the time, 68.35. But 2 down on the course for Jimmy Turano, so 8 faults total for Cochio Z. So that means we are going to stick on our 12 clear, and we can run through those with you in just a second. Of course, thanks again to this week's title sponsor, Bainbridge, and today's class sponsor, Hermes. And Hermes, since the company was founded in 1837, Hermes remains dedicated to making high-quality, handcrafted equestrian products for the horse, rider, and barn. Our workshops maintain a tradition of saddle making passed down from generation to generation of skilled artisans. With a strong commitment to innovation, Hermes integrates new materials and technology to develop high-performance technical apparel and equipment to meet the needs of riders at the highest levels of equestrian sport. And of course, thanks to our live stream sponsor, Dot Technologies, presenting the live stream all season long here at Wellington International. Dot Technologies is an industry leader in creative design and technology support services for sports, entertainment, corporate and special events. Visit us online at doddtechnologies.com. And today's live stream is also presented in part with the support of the U.S. Equestrian Federation and the Yusuf Network. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break while they remove some of the jumps. Let's take a look at those jump-off qualifiers. Kendra Clarissa Brinkup of Germany was our first to pave the way. Then Harry Charles of Great Britain, Laura Kraut, Margie Goldstein-Angle, Jessica Springstein representing the USA. Then over to Israel for Ashley Bond. Then back to the U.S. for Caitlin Connors, Natalie Dean, Mimi Gotchman, Alessandra Vulpi. A nice run of women there for the U.S. And then back to Canada with Kyle Tim and Niles Nasser of Egypt. Rounding out our 12 that we're going to see shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you guys in just a minute for the conclusion of the $62,500 Hermes CSI 5-star Meter 50 Classic.
It goes like this.
Bainbridge is a fully integrated family of real estate companies who have developed and acquired more than 43,000 units representing $7.5 billion in transactions since inception. With over 650 associates nationally, Bainbridge engages in virtually every step of the real estate process, from development and construction, acquisition and disposition, to asset management and third-party property management of multifamily real estate. Bainbridge is the 10th largest multifamily developer and the 14th largest multifamily builder in the United States. Our team of experienced and knowledgeable professionals is devoted to creating exceptional living experiences for all of our residents and building lasting, mutually beneficial relationships with our partners and clients. To learn more, visit www.bainbridgecompanies.com.
Can Jumper make you a show jumping expert? With Jumper, explore the latest event results, discover top horses and riders, and follow your favorites. Jumper delivers data from around the world, so you're always the most informed. Download now and take the guesswork out of show jumping with Jumper.
My first goal when I decided to be a professional is to become like the best horsewoman I can be. It's really important for me to find the balance with my family, with the horses, that is my passion. Work with the horses every day to do what I love. I used to have like one passion was the horses, and now I have two with my daughter. So I really want to have this balance in my life. I'm Marie Ecart, I'm a professional show jumper representing France, and I'm Lola's mom. Be mindful, be present, turn on your brain.
Can Jumper help you find your next top horse? Let's say you're looking for an 8-year-old, competing at meter 40, jumping clear 60% of the time. Jumper lets you find top horses by age, pedigree, or performance. Download now and take the guesswork out of show jumping with Jumper.
Welcome to Carlswood, the home of Irish Olympic medalist, coach and international horse producer, Cian O'Connor. At Carlswood, we pride ourselves on the belief that success is reward for effort. Set in County Meath, Carlswood is the home of Cian's industry-leading high-performance centre. The Carlswood system is based on a structured approach to daily routine and meticulous planning to help reach our goals. At Carlswood, Cian and the team work together to provide coaching, mentoring, advice on horse purchases and goal setting. We also facilitate students who wish to progress their show jumping skills while they study in universities in Ireland and across Europe. When it comes to developing your horse's fitness, scheduling and planning around competitions, no stone is left unturned. At Carlswood, we are committed to delivering quality, a place where our goal is the fulfilment of your ambition.
All right, hello and welcome back, everybody, to the $62,500 Hermes CSI 5-star meter 50 Classic to conclude Week 9 5-star competition here at Wellington International for the Winter Equestrian Festival. I'm Danny Waldman, and let's take a look at our jump-off qualifiers for today's class. We saw 12 qualify from the first round, 55 contended that first round. But we've got Germany's Kendra Clarissa Brinkhoff starting us off. She was our Pathfinder from round 1. Great Britain's Harry Charles and Aelin Blue, the horse he won the speed class on Friday. Then USA's Laura Kraut, Margie Goldstein-Angle, Jessica Springstein. Actually, every single one of the Americans in the jump-off are all women. Look at that. Amazing. So then we've got, Laura, Margie, Jessie, and then we'll move on to Israel's Ashley Bond, USA's Caitlin Connors, then Natalie Dean, Mimi Gotchman, Alexandre Vulpi, Kyle Tim of Canada, and Nasser of Egypt. So the women, and then one guy starting us out, or getting us started, number 2, and then a whole slew of females. So we got a good shot for a female to be on that podium, but those 3 men in that mix are very speedy ones. So it's going to be an exciting jump-off. And I will take you guys through what that jump-off course is going to be. A couple of blind, odd turns, but it'll be a fast one. So let's see what they do. And to get us started, Germany's Kendra Clarissa Brinkhoff, the world 97th. And do it easy. Can they do it easily? We're going to see in just a minute. They, of course, were our Pathfinders from round 1. This is an 11-year-old Self-Francais gelding owned by Kendra herself and Coolmore Show Jumping. So the course starts over the original number 2. So that's that black and gold Palm Beach Equine Clinic vertical across the middle. And then it's a right-handed sort of blind turn back to number 5, which is that orange oxer straight ahead to the cask. So let's see what she does. She's coming off the left. Let's count how many strides she does. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4. Turns back here. They skinnied up that oxer. Think she did 9. Think she also did 9. Then it's roll back here on the double. Whoa, big jump. Does the 7. I do not believe there's anything less than 7 there. But getting us started, 38.59. Very quick round there for Kendra. Will it be enough? Hard to say, but I think she was pretty quick. 38.59. And automatic leader with the double clear to get us started. But you can see her shaking her head. She doesn't know if it's going to be enough, but giving her horse a good pet. And she's on her way out. But of course, our winner from our meter 50 speed class on Friday, it was Harry Charles and this horse, Aelin Blue. So let's see if Harry can beat that time set by Kendra at 38.59. Certainly hard enough to beat. She's definitely put the pressure on. But I don't know if there's any less numbers anywhere. It'll just be a matter of foot speed. Let's see what we got. There was 8. Has to do the 4. He's moving here. This was a good shot, but gets there a little bit early, pushes that front pole out of the way. Does 8 here. So I think she did 9. So there are some less numbers, but with the 1 down, let's see what his time ends up being. I think he's going to get her on the time. Well, maybe not. No, 39.24. So she was quick and obviously left the jumps up, but not for Harry today. So he'll go into second with that 1 down, 39.24 his time. Again, Kendra still leading 38.59. But let's see what the speedy Laura Kraut can do. She's ranked 28th in the world for a reason. That's because she's always up there in the prizes. And of course, she's sitting on Calgary Tame. 12-year-old Celle-Francais gelding, owned by Eugenie Angot and Stars and Stripes. The old chap Tame. Calgary Tame. Let's see what Laura does with these numbers and her time. Again, it's all about track. So she does 10. But she's moving here. 9. 9. She's looking good here. She keeps moving around the turn. Beautiful ride there. And gets the 7 done easy. Does she get her? 38.96. Not going to catch her. So into second for Laura Croughton, Calgary Tame. But that was a wonderful effort there by Laura. Unfortunately, not quite quick enough to catch Kendra. So 38.96 was Laura's time. 38.59 was Kendra's. So just a couple tenths of a second off. But a super effort there. All right, let's take a look at USA's Margie Goldstein Angle and Degas. (2009) gelding, owned by Selma Garber, Gladewin's Partners LLC, Show Horses Incorporated, and Stormridge Capital LLC. Longtime partner. Let's see what Margie can do. Can she catch that time of Kendra Clarissa Brinkup? 38.59. Let's keep an eye on. We've seen a lot of different numbers across these lines. Let's see what Margie chooses to do. She does the 10. So we've seen 8, 9, and 10 there. Margie looks a little bit wider here, but she's still kicking. Balance is up for that. I think she does 10. 9. She's going to have to keep moving. Slows up a little bit here for the double. So I don't think she's going to catch the time, but she can leave the jumps up and stay up there. Steadies up to the last as well. Clears it for the double clear, but time is 43.08, so about 4.5 seconds off that pace. But she'll take the double clear and sit in third place at the moment. So super round there for Margie. All righty. That means Kendra is still winning for Germany. Do it easy, 38.59. Let's see what the very speedy Jessica Springstein and Naomi Van Het Kaisershoff can do. We know they can be a very fast pair. They were second in the speed class on Friday. They almost won a couple of speed classes earlier in the year, so definitely a super fast combination. Let's see what Jessie chooses to do, because we got to leave the jumps up and go fast. For anyone who watched the Grand Prix in Den Bosch earlier today, we saw in the jump off, Marcus Enning made a choice to just go for the clear that helped him keep him high up on that list. So sometimes that's the strategy. But let's see what Jessie Springstein can do right now. Gets a good running start off the left. Does the 9. Sits up for the 4. Ooh, a little bit of a rub there. Stays up. She's going to have to keep moving. She kicked for 8, but just didn't get there. Ended up putting one down, one more in at the end. And looking like she'll just slow up a little bit here and reorganize. And looking like she will retire within the round. You got to go for it sometimes, and it just doesn't always work out. She was kicking for it, but just couldn't quite get there. Oh, well. But she'll be back another day. All right, now we're going to take a look at another super fast rider, Israel's Ashley Bond and Elka de la Palme. Again, this horse just coming up to this level. Not sure how quick Ashley is going to push her, but she's won some speed classes on this horse before. And with Ashley in the tack, I would imagine she's not going to let Kendra off easy. So Ashley looking nice and chill. Loose rein here, just taking a walk while they rebuild the barn walker jump. I think maybe they needed a new pole. So jump crew is absolutely sprinting with that pole down the middle of the ring. Can't see it on camera, but it is impressive how fast he's running. There he is. And getting a good workout. That jump crew here at Wellington International works their butts off, and we thank them for their hard work all season long. They're the last ones here and the first ones here in the morning and the last ones at night because they make sure everything is ready for us. So thanks to our wonderful jump crew. And now we're going to see Israel's Ashley Bond and Elka de la Palme. All right, what's she going to do? Time to beat 38:59. Does the 9. Steadies up in the 4. Like I said, Ashley's not letting Kendra off easy. Got to keep moving here. Gets a good right to left bend. She's kind of on that bend. Steadies up a little bit here across the middle. But this horse is very quick across the ground. Steadies up again. Has a light rub, but very tight turn on the backside. Keeps going. Horse covers tremendous ground. Big jump at the last. She'll be super happy with that double clear. A little bit off the pace. 40.79, so she's 2.2 seconds over that time allowed for the differential. However, beautiful double clear, sitting in 3rd at the moment for Ashley Bond. So I think she'll be thrilled with that performance of that young up-and-comer, Elka de la Palme. All right, our first one to go is still holding on to the lead. Do it easy. Made it look easy, but we've got a bunch more coming. Let's see what our remaining 6 can do. First of those is USA's Caitlin Connors, 23-year-old rider sitting on Falcon de Hoos Z, the Caitlin Connors LLC entry. Chasing after that time, set by the German, 38:59. Let's see what we got. Does the 9, I believe, but does have the front pole down. All right, so now it's just going to be how fast can she go? We have another 4 falter. It's got to be faster than 39:24. Trying to keep it smooth. She's still going. She's not slowing up too much. Nice jump here. I think now just making sure she doesn't have another one down. Beautiful ride, actually, in there to the double. Keeping it nice and simple. Caitlin gets over the last, but she will be slightly the slower of our 4 falters. 44:47 is her time. Going into 6th at the moment with the 4 faults, but good effort there. All right. German still leading. 38:59. Let's see what the very speedy American Natalie Dean and the Marigold Sport Horses LLC entry, .com de toe. '95th ranked rider in the world. Let's see how fast Natalie can be. She's won a couple of classes already here this season. Won the young ride, the U25 class, a couple weeks back. Let's see what she can do. Does the 9. Gonna have to keep going. A little bit deep there, but leaves it up. Kicks across the middle. Very fast here. Gonna have to leave these jumps up. Needs to keep going. She's pretty quick. Can she do it? Clears the double. Little bit funky jump there by the horse. Time to beat 38.59. Does she do it? She does not. 40.37 will be her time, so that'll put her into third place at the moment. But great effort there by Natalie and .com. Into third, but Kendra clearly proving to be very fast. She did look very efficient. She didn't really pull on the reins anywhere. But we know the next few coming up are still very, very fast. And that is not Alexandre Vulpi, but it looks like Mimi Gotchman. I think Vulpi's coming up after. Mimi Gotchman is first. And tone buzzes for Mimi Gotchman and Inclin BH. It's the DG Sport Horse LLC entry. Let's see what she does. 19 years of age. Can she beat her? Does the 9. Steadies up for the 4. She's going to have to keep moving. She looks a little slower. Clears that, a little bit of a rub. Pretty quick across the middle. Very quick here. Great upper body use there to slow the arc down because the horse is moving fast. She keeps moving here. Oh, that was a big one in. Clears the B. Kicks for the last. Does she do it? 39-33. She will go into third place at the moment behind Kendra and Laura Crowd, but great effort there from Mimi and Inclin BH. 39-33 is their time. Again, leading time is still 38.59. So the two at the top have broken 38 seconds, broken 39 seconds to be in the 38s. But let's see if Alessandra Vulpi and Candy Luck Z, her own entry, with the 23-year-old from the U.S. Let's see what they can do. I'm just happy to watch this horse again because, boy, is it a beautiful jumper. All right. I think this horse jumps so well it might lose a little time in the air. But Kendra's time proving to be very challenging to beat, 38.59. Let's see what Vulpi and Candy Luck can do. Oh, little bit lead struggling, but gets it back, and she's off. So with a little bit of playfulness there, she ends up doing 10. And then really hard rub there, and it actually does fall, unfortunately. Beautiful jump here. And she's trying to be quick, but with the one down, let's see what she ends up. Big ride in. Beautiful jump. Steadies up there to the last. Time is 41.34. Going into 8th place with the 4 faults at the moment. So she tried, but she had a lot of speed at that cask. And horse kind of rubbed it, and it rolled in the cups and actually fell backwards towards the front of the jump. Okay, so next up, we're going to see Canada's Kyle Tim and Atomica. Does the 10, so a little bit off the pace from Kendra. So can he make it back up? 38.59 that time. Steadies up a little bit here. Does the 9. I think it does 10 actually there. So I think a couple strides more. Again, this is a much smaller, more agile horse than Kendra's, but I think a little bit off it. But kicking to the last. Big one at the last jump. Third, 40.69 is that time. On the double clear, will go into 5th. So great effort, but a little bit off that pace. Okay. Just the last one to contend. We have seen Kendra Clarissa Brinkup maintain the lead from the first round. That is so rare. We so rarely see that happen, where the first one out will take the class. Can Nile Nasser of Egypt take over the lead on ESI Ali? We're going to know very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Evergate Stables LLC entry of the 9-year-old Irish bred gelding, ESI Ali. Great first round that Nile had. It's a newer partnership. Let's see how fast he decides to go on the young 9-year-old. Time to beat 38.59, set by Kendra Clarissa Brinkup, and do it easy. They certainly did do it easy. Can they maintain the lead? Come on, Nile. Does the 9. A little bit of a stretch. Sits up. Gets that done. Pretty neat turn back here. And he's going. Big reach there. Great effort on the horse's part. You could see a double check. Flying now. Got to keep moving. That time, 38.59. Keep an eye on the clock. Gets through the double. Steadies up in the 7. Is he going to get her? 39.50 will go into 4th. So that means that our first out in the jump off is going to be our winner. And it is Germany's Kendra Clarissa Brinkup, and Do It Easy. So she had a spectacular debut here in Wellington. Takes the win today in our $62,500 Hermes CSI 5-star meter 50 classic. Nile going into 4th. So it's looking like Kendra and Do It Easy take the win. Laura Kraut and Calgary Tame into 2nd. Mimi Gotchman and Inclan BH in 3rd. Nile Nasser and ESI Ali into 4th. Natalie Dean and .com go into 5th. Kyle Tim and Atomica into 6th. Ashley Bond and Elka De La Palm, great on the double clear round there, into 7th. Margie Goldstein Angle rounding out our double clears with Dekas into 8th. And then Harry Charles into 9th with Aelin Blue. Alexandre Vulpi in 10th. 11th to Falcon to Hughes. And Jesse Springstein and Naomi will round out our 12. So this was a wonderful conclusion to our 5-star week here for the Bainbridge week. And of course, thanks to Hermes, today's sponsor of the Meter 50 Classic and all season long here in Wellington. And Hermes, since the company was founded in 1837, Hermes remains dedicated to making high-quality, handcrafted equestrian products for the horse, rider, and barn. Our workshops maintain a tradition of saddle making passed down from generation to generation of skilled artisans. With a strong commitment to innovation, Hermes integrates new materials and technology to develop high-performance technical apparel and equipment to meet the needs of riders at the highest levels of equestrian sport. And of course, thanks to Dodd Technologies, the sponsor of our live stream. Dodd Technologies is an industry leader in creative design and technology support services for sports, entertainment, corporate, and special events. Visit us online at doddtechnologies.com. And today's live stream also presented in part with the support of the U.S. Equestrian Federation and the USEF Network. So this was a wonderful class here. 55 horse rider combinations contended the first round. 12 made it in, and here are your final results. First place, Kendra Clarissa Brinkup of Germany. Laura Kraut into 2nd. Mimi Gotchman in 3rd. Nile Nassar in 4th. Natalie Dean in 5th. Kyle Tim in 6th for Canada. And our prize-giving ceremony is coming up in just a minute. But again, make sure to tune back in on Thursday for the Challenge Cup Week 10. Coming up soon. I'll be here with you guys for that as well. And we're just waiting for our horses and riders to come back in for their prize-giving ceremony. We've got 3 more wonderful weeks of top CSI show jumping competition here at Wellington International for the Winter Equestrian Festival. I cannot believe it has been 9 weeks already. Would you believe it? We're already well into March with 3 weeks left to go. And it is not the nicest weather here. For some reason, Florida has not cooperated all season long. It just doesn't want to be nice for us. Last year, I think we had 1 rain day, and that was for the Rolex Grand Prix. Otherwise, it was gorgeous every single day of the year. And here, this year, it has been gross every day of the year. What can I say? Florida weather not cooperating. But we still saw some super show jumping. And there's our 3rd place finisher, Mimi Gotchman and Inclen BH. They, of course, finished in a time of 39:33 for their prize-giving ceremony here at the Hermes Oxer, which was, of course, our last jump of the course. Congrats to Mimi Gotchman. 2nd place, there's our 2nd and 1st place finishers. 2nd place, Laura Kraut and Calgary Tame into 2nd place. Congratulations to them. They finished in a time of 38:96. Beautiful speedy round for Laura. And there you can see her receiving her prize. Nice photo op. Congrats, Laura. And of course, our winner of today's $62,500 CSI 5-star meter 50 Hermes meter 50 Classic. It is the German Kendra Claricia Brinkhope. And do it easy. They sure did. Congratulations. Time 38:59 was our winning time. Congratulations to them. We're going to hear the national anthem of Germany right now, and then they're going to do a little victory gallop. I'm Danny Waldman. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we'll catch you next week for week 10 at the Winter Equestrian Festival. Goodbye, everyone.
Well done to our winning rider, fabulous start, and a great addition to our lineup of riders throughout the week here at the Winter Equestrian Festival. Builds and completes our Bainbridge 5-star week. What a wonderful week. Luciano Losio winning the Grand Prix, and now Kendra Brinkhope takes home the MS 150 Classic with Do It Easy. Lap of Honour time, victory gallop for our leading group, and it's a win for Kendra Brinkhope as she joins Laura Crouch and Mimi Gotchman, our top 3 in today's $62,500 MS Classic. Getting set for next class, and it is into our next to complete the week, and that will be our $10,000 show jumping Hall of Fame 145 Junior Jumper Classic. Total of 26 to go in that, and aim for that is 4:15.